Oh my God. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nathalie. I'm a musician and today we have our second requested video. I'm so thrilled about this. And again, if you have a video of your own to request, please just let me know either in the comments below, on Instagram, Facebook, my website, wherever the hell you can find me. I'm very happy to oblige. And this time the question did not come from Brazil, but from Belgium. Actually, one of my fellow students, my peers, one of my colleagues now in the music field, and he asked about how I approach a score in the beginning of my practice of a new piece. Because like in the classical education, sure, I mean, my teacher talked about keys, signatures, and all that stuff, but as a kid I kind of didn't really know what was going on, and I just kind of read the notes and did not really make the connection. But as we grow older, we do have more space in our heads to really start to implement all that information that is in the score and see the patterns and the motives that are going on. But if we're not careful, or if we don't really become conscious of the extra space that is created, we kind of don't look at a score in the most efficient way. And so we lose a lot of time. And well, let's talk about how to not lose time and be efficient with reading a score. Here are my thoughts, and let's dive in. So, how do we start approaching a score? Well, at first you have to know your basics. And with basics, I mean, do you know in what key you're playing? Especially if you're playing tonal music, you know, we are all about keys in tonal music. So it's kind of similar to languages. If you're going to read a book in English, you're not going to approach this book thinking you're going to read in French, because then the English words will not make sense at all, and you'll just be reading letters and then putting them together. Which, you know, if you think about it like that, sounds very stupid. Well, if you approach a music score and you're not thinking about the key, you're doing that exact thing. You're not translating the music correctly. So if I show you the example that I use in the intro, which is Rachmaninoff's fourth Moment Musical, you see in the beginning something that would probably unnerve a lot of us. Will be like, oh my god, those are a lot of notes, and for my left hand, this is not friendly. Well, it kind of is way more friendly than you would think in the beginning. But before we go into that, my first question when I first started reading this piece of music was, in what key am I playing this? And I see an F sharp in the beginning of the stem, and then I see right at the end, the very last chord in the very last bar is an E minor chord, so that settles it, we are in E minor. And then the second question I ask myself is, what on earth do I know about E minor? What are my major chords, like not major as in having a major third, but what are the most important chords in this key? What are the fingerings that I use for scale patterns in this key? And once you kind of figure that out, then you can start by playing your piece very slowly and seeing what's going on, right? So to elaborate a little bit on the example, E minor, I know my first degree chord will be the E minor chord. Next most important chord is the fifth degree, which is our dominant chord. That will be B major. So having B major in there, that means that a D sharp will not be an uncommon note in this piece. Then having A minor, that's our fourth degree chord. So E, F sharp, G, A. So fourth degree. We have those are kind of our most important chords, right? 1, 4, and 5. And then we have still important chords, but maybe a little bit less, is the sixth and the second degree. And then we have third and seventh. And from then on, we can modulate to different keys. So, but knowing these chords and looking out for them when you're first just like taking the pages and read it through, that's an important thing to do, especially as a pianist or a harpist or a guitarist. We are playing melody and chords at the same time, so if you have no clue what's going on with chords, then wow, we're losing so much time, because yes, we play a lot of notes at the same time. So if you can make it into a like a more efficient way of reading, we are winning a lifetime. So that's my first tip. Know your basics. Your chords, your key, your key, your chords, your fingerings that are used in that key. And then we can worry about more things later. Okay, so fun fact, I had recorded this next section and I accidentally deleted it. So I'm gonna do this again. The second big thing that you need to figure out when you're learning a score is all the patterns that are going on, because those patterns, they are gonna make the story relatable, and they're gonna make it like you know what's going on. That is basically the main thing about patterns. And so if I take this fourth moment musical again with me, in the beginning we established this is an E minor chord in the beginning, and it kind of returns a couple of times. But you see here in the beginning, there's kind of a chromatic thing going on. We go from G to F sharp back to G, then from E to D sharp to D natural, D natural to C sharp, and so on. And this chromatic pattern, what it does is it just creates more drama without us having to do a lot of jumps or do a lot of technically complicated stuff. Basically, Rachmaninoff is being kind of nice to us, just giving us a chromatic thing, and it increases drama. Great. It's exactly what we need. And this chromatic pattern returns in a lot of the chords, not just in the E minor chord, but also in A minor, in D, and in B major. This whole chromatic thing returns. Also on the second page, where our right hand will sometimes join this pattern, also to increase dramatic effect and kind of build up towards the end. But so yeah, chromaticism, that's kind of interesting to see for the beginning, and not just play one note at a time and not see that it is a pattern that is returning. On the second page, we're also going to the second main motive that I see here, and I see it because for the first time we have eighth notes coming and going. I hope these are also eighth notes, right? And here I can't really see what I'm showing you, but these eighth notes are echoing, and that is great to know. And if we turn towards the end of the piece, that is a section that is completely returning for the end of the piece, with just the difference that this time it's in higher octaves and we go down very low to reach the last chord. But so knowing that is, you know, it's important. And are there patterns everywhere? Probably not, but you could figure out maybe even smaller patterns that are going on, and that can help you with really getting to know your score in an efficient way. And then all of a sudden, a piece that is 7 to 8 pages long kind of makes more sense, because you see that there are parts of it that are being reused, whether that is exactly or with slight differences as in octave differences, or maybe it stops a little bit sooner or something like that. But seeing all these things from the beginning and taking your time to notice them and to think about them when you're practicing can really, really make your practice time a lot shorter as to getting to know a piece, right? I don't mean that you need to practice less. It's more like it'll take you less time to get to know a piece. And well, just to kind of show you, this is now a piece that I'm currently reading, so I don't know how to perform it yet, but I'm now reading through it. So this is another Rachmaninoff piece because I just adore Rachmaninoff, and this is his second prelude, opus 23. And here we are, there's again a left hand accompaniment pattern, lots of notes, and then right hand melody. In the left hand, this time we're in B flat major, we have a lot of B flat major chords, and one extra note that is not really part of the chord, which is an E natural. And now if you know something about chords and maybe you've had a couple of jazz lessons, or I don't know, you kind of fooled around a bit on YouTube and you saw people explaining chords, you could think that this is a B flat major sharp 11 chord, because the sharp 11 would be an E natural. Sure, you can think of it that way. I personally think it's a kind of just a color, like a note that goes from D to E natural to F. So it kind of makes it a little bit more interesting than just B flat F, D, F, something like that. But I mean, if it helps you to write above it that it's a B flat major sharp 11 chord, then by all means, just do that. And then where it changes, it's a little bit further in the piece on the second page. You see the accompaniment gets it gets like broken off, gets stopped in its way to go up, kind of has to always start again. And then here we have a section that is all chords right after one another. And I know that this is one that will be nasty to really get in your fingers because there's a lot of jumps and you have to leave your keys. There's not, like here, you will always be able to kind of maintain one key to go to the next, while not with chords. So this will have to be practiced differently to really get it as much in my muscular memory as the pattern from the beginning. And then for me personally, also on this page, where we have our second main melody going on, the melody this time will be in the left hand. Here I will have to be very careful for my right hand to not over tense, because my hand is not the biggest one, and an alternation between octaves and chords in like a rather fast piece and this for a number of bars, that will be hard for me to really stay as flexible and as comfortable as I can, especially if I'm speeding up the piece at some point. So these are already a couple of things that I'm thinking about, even if I'm just literally just starting to get to know the piece. Well, I'm usually very lazy when it comes to writing down fingerings, but if you have a section like this one at the end, and usually the end of the piece is where your brain kind of gets tired, I decided I needed to be friendly for my future self and really write the fingering down. So that's something that I did in my last practice of this piece. And now I'm kind of getting to know this fingering and seeing if it actually works well or not, if I still might have to adapt a little bit. This is just something that needs a little bit of time. And yeah, that is how I approach a score. So I really do try and implement as much as I can, as much of the music theory that I know. I mean, there are people who have way better chord knowledge than I do and like can just sit at the piano and improvise and make it sound like an actual piece. I'm not one of those people, but I do know, like I can see the chord sequences in a piece, and oftentimes, even as a kid when I didn't see the sequences all that much, I would write the chord symbols above it to kind of help my brain remember it more easily. So yeah, that's how I approach the scores. So I hope you find this helpful and interesting. And if you have anything of your own to add to these kind of tips to be as efficient as you can in your practice, please let me know and let us know, and let's just learn from each other. And if you have a request of your own, please feel free to also leave something in the comments below or contact me in a different way, I would be so happy to make a vlog for you. And yeah, I will see you next week with a new music video, and then the week after with another vlog. I hope you are very well, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.